Do you ever find yourself not having enough time to take action on taking care of yourself, your rejuvenation, your self-care, to take action on the things you love or to move towards your goals and dreams? In today's video, we'll explore what's the real possibility when mastering time, how mastery of time puts you in the position of power. Why is this important to you? I'll share a little bit about my story and also a 3 simple step system that I call time mastery system that when applied can help you transform your experience of time. So follow along. In this video, we'll explore what's the real possibility when working with time. Why is time mastery important to you? How having mastery over our time puts us in a position of power. I'll share a little bit about my development and my story with time, and I'll also share a 3-step system. I call it the time mastery system that when applied can help you transform your whole experience of time. Most people think that they don't have enough time, when in reality what they're lacking is a true understanding of time in the language of energy. Have you ever had a moment where you got a hit of inspiration and all of a sudden you felt inspired to go through your to-do list and just start checking things off, and it took you actually a small amount of time because you simply felt motivated to do it? Focus and concentration equals flow. And what often feeds our flow, it's interest, it's our curiosity, it's being engaged in something that actually fuels our energy. In moments like this, we feel both alert and relaxed. We are engaged. We are fully present in the moment. Our thoughts and our hearts are in coherence. We might even feel motivated to do something new. We might feel inspired to take something off our calendar because we have the foresight, the clarity to see that perhaps it's not needed. So mastering time allows us to tap in more and more to that greater possibility of being in flow, of being in the clarity to see what's essential and what it's the extra that's actually draining our energy. This is important to you because we can learn to expand time when we see it in terms of energy. Most people prioritize urgencies instead of priorities. And I believe that this is the reason why most people are stuck in hustle mode and survival mode instead of just living in inspired action, living inspired, living in spiritus, right? To be inspirited. It's a different experience when we're moving from feeling propelled by purpose than when we're feeling like we have to do this and we don't have enough time to do it. It's a completely different experience. When we are expanding time, we are so engaged in the moment that it feels literally like you are in flow, flowing, flying. This is not only beneficial to your life, but it's also beneficial to your relationship with the whole world, because the world doesn't need any more martyrs. There's so many people in service without any time left, complaining, in codependency, because they are tired. They are not in vitality, in their joy. They are resentful because they're overgiving and not having the time to refuel. So learning to master time puts you in the position of power. So here's something you can do about it. I want you to start to understand time as energy. And the same way you would budget your finances or your physical vitality, it's essential to know that we get to do the same thing with time. You get to budget it and give it towards your priorities first. You want to get very clear on what are your non-negotiables, because these are the things that actually give you energy. They help you rejuvenate, relax your nervous system, and with that, it allows you to think clearly and intelligently. So you want to consider what are the things that are giving you free energy, right? That there are activities that you engage with that actually bring energy into the system, and be ruthless in prioritizing those versus any urgencies from the external world, because there will always be urgencies, there will always be a to-do list. When we prioritize actually showing up with full energy, we can be of greater service. So it's a paradox that actually taking care of our priorities first helps us be more present to what's actually needed. Here's the thing, no one is going to give you the time to do what's important to you. And unless you schedule it and you make time for yourself and stay committed to it, it's not going to happen. Most people I speak to, and this used to be my experience as well, think that once I accomplish something, once I get there, once I find a babysitter, or once I sell the business, then I will be able to have time to take care of myself. And that is an old conditioning. That it's not true. It's like the idea of Newtonian physics. First I got to get to A, then I got to get to B, and then I got to get to C. And what we want to engage here and to fold time, to contract time, is to actually send out the signal that we are worthy of time by giving it to ourselves first. In the language of energy, we are always getting back what and how we feel, what we think. This field of consciousness is always in agreement with us. So if we send out a signal that says, I am worthy of time, I take time to breathe, to take in life, to restore, to rejuvenate, guess what comes back at you? The more opportunities, experiences that validate what signal you're putting out, we will start to see more of the external world mirror back to us our internal experience, because that's just what it is. The world around us will mirror how we treat ourselves, how we are with ourselves, how we feel within ourselves. And this will feel weird and awkward in the beginning because it goes totally against our conditioning and what we've learned. And this is important because when we are weaker in our system, when we're tired, when we are not well rested, when we are anxious or feeling a little depressed or having negative self-talk, we will fall into procrastination, because procrastination can be so comfortable. I want you to remember this. Procrastination is comfortable. Showing up with full vitality and doing things that feel uncomfortable in the beginning require us to be in our strength. I struggled with time management for a long time. It's been a healing relationship over 15 years, because before that I was overworking, overcommitting, giving all my energy to other people, dealing with codependency and resentment because I was drained. I had no energy left to show up for myself fully in the way that I wanted to. And this is something that I witness in many of the people that come to me. I want to share with you a simple time mastery system. One of my clients, Shelly, said that when she applied this and committed to this, she tapped into the yum frequency. And I love this because so much of our work focuses on giving ourselves what we need so that the world outside mirrors that experience back at us. The first step is for you to get clear on what are the non-negotiables in your life. What are the fundamental tasks and activities that you know are essential for you to perform and show up in your greater service, in your greatest energy on a daily basis? This includes knowing what feeds your personal vitality, what feeds your mood, what feeds your health. How do you show up feeling healthy and aligned and energized? What are the things that you need to do in order to be in full energy physically? You want to get clear on what are the tasks that require most of your energy. Oftentimes, they are the new habits that we are imprinting in our unconscious. For me, something that I'm currently working on is restoration. And learning to understand rest is a very, very productive thing in my life. But when it comes to this, it's a very personal thing. What is the most important thing for you? For one of my clients, Andrea, the most important non-negotiable in his life right now is taking care of his physical body and his nutrition. So what is it to you? What is it for you? It's important to know when you have the most will, right? The most willpower in your day. Is it in the morning? Is it at night? Willpower essentially starts to drain from morning to night. At least that's my experience. It might be different for you. Some people get this energy spikes in the middle of the day. It's important to know what works for you. Then I want you to get clear on what drains your energy and can you delegate that? Yes, even if you have to pay a little bit, it's important to invest in yourself. You want to look at this as investing in your stamina When you delegate the tasks that drain your energy, you might be saving yourself a couple of dollars, but maybe you're actually spending a lot of vital hours of creativity that you can be putting towards something that actually fuels you with energy. So in that, you start to create more time. I want to take a quick pause to just ask you to please subscribe to this channel if you're finding this information useful. I will be posting videos once a week. Back to the content. Thank you. The second step is to organize your calendar in a way that excites you. You want to have spaces and things to look forward to in your calendar. Things for creative explorations, conversations that light you up. You want to have time in there for rest, for restoration, to decompress. We must craft time for surrender in our calendar. Surrender is not the same as non-action or submission. Surrender is our capacity to give up control when we want to, right? It's the use of our power to let go of control. In today's world, it takes a lot of power to give up control, right? This is the world that we live in. So we want to have time to let magic unfold. Remember that in order to experience magic, the first necessary steps are both surrender and trust. So can you craft time for creativity, for spaciousness in your calendar? Oftentimes, we can get a lot more done when we are, in the ocean, or when we are in the bathtub or dancing, because we are we're regulating the nervous system and connecting to greater patterns of creation than when we're pushing the energy and like trying to just push with fear and anxiety and scarcity mindset. Something to do in this time to decompress might be dancing, singing, practicing mindfulness, creating art, meditation, right? A meditation is anything that allows you to create a mind break, if it's playing an instrument, if it's connecting to an art form. Let it be your own way of expressing. I do recommend the practice of stillness and quiet. It is so, so vital. And you might be drawn to experience meditation in your own way. Schedule that in your calendar. Once you know what are the things that are your non-negotiables, remember that it's okay to say no. When you say no, you eliminate distractions. Most people are afraid to say no because they are afraid of hurting someone else's feelings. But when we say no to someone, we often say yes to ourselves, and it's way better to say no and thank you. It doesn't have to be a harsh no. And when we say and wait for the opportunity to say yes in full energy, because it is aligning with our priorities and what we value. So you want to eliminate distractions, because overcommitting is usually the first thing that leads to burnout. You want to set realistic goals. You can do absolutely everything that you wish you absolutely can, but does it have to be this year or this quarter or this decade? You get to choose how you create, and what's more important is that you're creating with spaciousness, because that's when we show up in our greatest service. So spread your goals and use each time frame, each quarter, each year to focus on the one thing. You focus on one thing at a time. You split that in smaller milestones, and you split those milestones in smaller tasks. And those tasks you commit yourself to doing 1 to 3 a day. And in that way, you are living in meaning. You are living with purpose. Every day, you know what you're committing to. There's a great book that's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. I totally recommend it. What's really important about our calendar and putting things in our calendar is that it allows us to stay consistent. And what inspires us to continue doing something is actually doing it. The more we do something, the more we are drawn to doing it. Remember that it's more important to do something consistently than to do big, massive things and then totally drop the ball. It's better to move the needle, right? Like I call them micro shifts, right? Every day you create a micro shift and a micro shift and a micro shift, and then it becomes something that you are just drawn to do it. It becomes part of your character because it's what you do, it's how you live. It's more important. So our calendar, putting things in a calendar in that way that repeats on a weekly basis, that repeats on a daily basis, allows us to develop and design our character essentially. And the third step is simply to remember to stay rooted, grounded, and at the same time to stay flexible. You will be changing. This is an experiment. Allow yourself to keep checking back in. Is this what's most important for me now? Do that every 3 months. Check in with yourself. What's most important to me now? What are my priorities now? Because you will always be changing. We live in a world where the only constant is change. So remember to practice your non-negotiables, put things in your calendar, and stay rooted and flexible in your growth, your change, and your evolution. Let's connect. You can learn more about my programs and services by going to sandratrue.com and perhaps hop on a call with me. Thank you so much. I hope this was useful. I'm sending you my love. Have a beautiful day.